Hey guys, I know it's been a minute since I've been here. What's going on? I'm Jasmine. As you can see, the name of the channel has changed. I went from Lavender Flower to Hope with Jasmine. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that's my username there. I'm more active on TikTok and Instagram than I am on YouTube, but I wanted to do a little video recap. One of the last videos that I had posted on here was a video that I did about, I think it was either 3 or 4 years ago, where I was talking to you about why I moved back from LA. So I wanted to give you a little life recap. If you're into that, keep watching. If you're not, then it's not for you. So funny story is that literally at this very moment, you are joining me in my living room in Southern California. And I never thought I would move back here, to be honest. Before I had the opportunity to move here, I remember the connections that I had made here. You know, they would always ask me like, are you gonna move back? Are you gonna come back? When are you gonna come back? And I would always be like, nah, that's not for me. I tried it. I realized, no, this is not my thing. You know, I don't want to move back to LA. It was just, I just didn't want to. I didn't like it. So fast forward 3 or I guess 4 years now. The Lord, this was honestly through fasting. And at the time when I fasted, I had no idea this is what was going to happen. But we had a corporate fast with church, and you know, the one that you do in the beginning of the year and stuff, but we had a 40-day fast, and something that the church would practice is, or the pastor would encourage the church to practice, is like, when you do your fast, name your fast, like what you're fasting for, and ask the Lord to give you a location or a place or a time or things like that of when you should break the fast. And so I had never really heard of that concept before. And I was like, you know what, I'll try it out. I was praying and asking, wasn't hearing anything. And then finally the last week of my fast, the beginning of the week, I hear the word Los Angeles. And it was to break my fast there. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird. Like, why would he say LA? Like, that's really weird. Like, I have no desire to go back to LA, one. And I don't know, it's just weird. So I let like a day pass, and then I realized, you know what? I think he wants to take me back so there can be some complete healing from that place. And just to, yeah, I just felt like it was going to be a healing and a redeeming time, which is why he was taking me back to LA. So I was like, okay. So I called my friend up. I was like, this friend is usually around that time, they were never here. Like, they're in ministry, so they were always traveling. But I called them up and I was like, hey, are you guys going to be in town? You think I could stay with you guys? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to be here. Come through. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I ended up going. Long story short, still without an agenda. I kind of went with what I felt in my spirit that was supposed to happen. And I went with like, you know, on the last day of my fast, I went around the city where I lived at in East Hollywood, and I went around the city. I was praying for it. Like, I kid you not, when I say I didn't want to move back, I really didn't want to, because I just didn't really care for the people here, didn't care for the atmosphere here. I made memories, you know, I made the best out of the time that I was here, but overall, I talked about in the other video that oppressing spirit, the spirits that are around that area were just like literally shooing me away, and I was falling for it. So yeah, so I ended up, you know, doing that, praying over the places, revisiting, and I really felt the Lord change my heart for LA, change my heart for Southern California in that moment, which is really weird because I didn't think even that at all that I would move back here. Like, I didn't have that in my radar at all. This was in February, the beginnings of February and of 2023. And yeah, I just felt like I was healed from any hurts or pain from LA. I felt that my eyes were opened to kind of see God's love for his people there and for the demographic, the geography. It was just a really beautiful experience. I can't really explain more than that. And so fast forward from February to, let me see, February, March, April, May to May, 3-month period, 3 months, like 3 months from there. So in 3 months, fast forward, long story short, I ended up getting so there's a lot that happened in between that I ended up, like, my lease was coming up where I was living in the Bay Area, and I was like, okay, Lord, what should be like my next move? Like, should I live, do you want me to live here in San Jose? Do you want me to live with where my parents live in the city they're in? Or I don't know why I threw LA in there, but I did. Or I was like, or do you want me to go back to SoCal? Like, you know? And so I my heart was willing. I was like, wherever you want me to go, Lord, I'll go. My heart was willing. And so I ended up just being like praying over that and just praying, God, you know, wherever you make an opportunity, like whether, if you want me to stay with my job, I will be. The only places I could stay with my job is in San Jose and then in the other city where my parents are. But if it's LA, you know, I can't move without a job there. So if you, for whatever reason, want me to go back there, you have to make a way. Well, I kid you not. I was praying that in February, March, and April. Come May, all of a sudden, my coworker, whom holds my same position in LA, quits. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like, what? She's been there for 3 years. All of a sudden, she just ends up quitting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is literally what I've been praying for. Okay, I'm going to make my move. So that's in May. Remember, my lease is not up until September. So that's in May. And I told my manager, I was like, hey, you know, I'm willing to go learn what she does before she leaves. And, you know, I'm willing to transfer over there if that's a possibility. And they were like, okay, well, let's, you know, we'll let you go fly out there, blah, blah, blah. So I learned before she left. And she did the same thing. So I just had to kind of meet people. And they were like, okay, well, how would this work? Because she was also leaving in May, June, July, August, September. That was 4 months for us to kill time. So they're like, how would this work? Like, when would you be able to get down there if you are relocating? This, and that. Everything was going good where I was living. Like, I was part of a healthy church. I would help out at this other church in the evenings, and it was like amazing. I had a great family there. You know, work was going really well. You know, family, everything was just good. And so to an outsider, probably me moving would be like a weird thing. You know what I mean? And so when I talked to my manager, I was like, well, I wouldn't be able to move until September, or at least the end of August. And they're like, okay, well, let us talk about this, figure this out, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, they ended up saying yes. And I didn't want to bring it up to my friends who lived in Southern California yet, because I was like, what if I don't find a place to live out here? But you know what? God, you literally came out of nowhere with this job opportunity. So I'm going to trust that you're going to provide a place too. So I still, without trying to tell my friends what was happening, I came to visit and I told them, I was like, hey, so there is probably going to be a possibility that I can move down here, but I need to find a place to live. And my homie, literally, he's like, oh, I know someone who's going to be renting soon. Here, hold on, let me give him a call. There and then he calls him and then says, hey, I have a friend who's blah, 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 blah. Can they come and see the place tomorrow? This was in June. And he's like, yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. So I came to see the place, which is the place I'm at now. I came to see the place. It was still under construction on the inside. And this was June, and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt good about it. I felt good about it. He was great. I told him, the type of lifestyle that I live. And what ends up happening is I tell him, I was like, dude, I actually really like this place. He worked with what my budget was, which is a huge deal. It was a huge deal. So what I was paying back home for the apartment, I was able to pay here. And that was a huge deal. But before we got to actually working to, he allowed me to pay the same what I was paying back home. I told him, I was like, I know it's not done in here yet, but he's like, more than likely it's going to be done next month. When can you move in? I was like, well, honestly, I can't move in until either the beginning of September or the ends of August. So I know that's a long time to wait because you could be making money off of this with anyone else, but that's the only time I could do it because that's when my lease is up. And he's okay, well, how about you think about it and then I'll think about it, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, about a week after that, I realized like, no, this is the place I want to live in. And so I told him, and so June, July, August, that's 2 months. Let's say 3, because I moved in the first week of September. And I told him, yeah, this is the place I want to move, but I wouldn't move here until the first week of September, the first weekend. He's okay. And I was like, okay. Like legit. Unexpectedly, my coworker, this is literally in a period of March, April, May, June, June, a period of 4 months. I pray, I fast, God brings me to LA to heal my heart, to open my eyes to what he's doing in LA. And in that same period, my coworker quits. He makes a way for me to have a job opportunity over here. In that same period, I tell my friends about me moving out here possibly, and they say, I know someone, I connect with him, I come to see the place. In that same period of time, I tell him this is the place, and he says yes, he'll wait those 2 months for me to move here. And I didn't have to pay for those 2 months. He just got to take his sweet time to continue to do construction in here. And when I tell you, if God is calling you to a place, there is nothing that is going to get in the way of that. Now that I see the Lord's provision in every single step of the way of this move currently, in the move that I'm in currently, now in hindsight, I look back at everything about the last move that I made when I was here. When I originally moved to Los Angeles, I moved with this passion and zeal to come to LA, to be a catalyst for the Lord, to be a catalyst for people who are in the entertainment industry, to be that bridge, you know what I mean? And I wanted to, I was already pursuing acting back home in the Bay Area, but I wanted to do it over here. And I had all this passion and zeal, and it was all in the right place. It was with the right heart. But even when at that moment I felt God was calling me to come here, I look back and I realized that he wasn't calling me to come here at that moment. He was actually just revealing to me his heart for these people, his heart for the people in the entertainment industry. He was revealing to me his heart and what he wants to do, but he wasn't telling me to go. And I thought because he revealed it to me, he was telling me to go. And I look at that now and I understand it now, and I understand why things worked out the way they did or didn't work out the way they did. I understand why now the provision looks different this time. Like it's actually present, when back then I had to make a lot of things happen. And here it was all the hand of God. And even coming here, there's no clear direction on exactly where he wants me to go and what he wants me to do besides be here, like there was or I thought there was the first time. Like the first time I was like, I know I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But this time around, I feel that it's going to be a sweeter time of exploring with the Lord. And well, I'm going to be the one doing the exploring and discovering. And I'm okay with that. And the only reason I'm sharing this little testimony is, one, because I'm back in SoCal. I don't live in Hollywood, but I am back in SoCal. This place feels like home to me. It's so weird to describe, and I never thought I would say that. But whenever the Lord reveals to you a plan that he has for his people through you, don't be so quick to rush and act on it, because many times it's just a revelation. When you see the hand of God, first pray. I know that sounds really like, oh, that's really minimal. No, it's a big deal. First pray. If you're not sure, ask God, okay, God, where do you want me to move? What do you want to move me to? Just like I prayed, right? Is it this, this, and this? And if it's this place, you know that I'm gonna need a job, you know? So ask him, like, okay, God, you're showing me this. Where is it that you want me to go with this? What do you want me to do? Is it this, this, or this? Like, ask him for direction, and he'll give it to you. And if the provision happens, he's in it, because he will always make a way. If you're trying to get somewhere and you're trying really hard, it's not opposition. More than likely, he's not wanting you to go yet. He wants you to prepare. Nothing is wasted in the Lord, which is what's beautiful, right? He works all things out for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And even whatever the enemy intended for evil, God will use for good. That is a promise. It's amazing that we can stand on that and say that even if I do make the wrong turn, even if I do rush like I rushed, God still redeems. God still redeems the situation, just like he did for me. Even though I went ahead of him in that moment, that last time I lived here, he's redeeming it. None of that went to waste. I met so many wonderful people, and I know that the Lord touched so many lives of those around me, even when I didn't know it. But nothing is wasted of your story. So even if you do make a mistake, not on purpose, it's not wasted. But also, when the Lord speaks and there is revelation, don't be so quick to run. Pause and pray. That's literally the best advice I can give you. Pause and pray. Anyways, hopefully I'll get to do more of these in the future. But for now, I just wanted to give you a little recap. If you're new to this channel, let me know below. If you've been following for a while and you're like, wait, this girl actually posted. Because remember, I used to do YouTube vlogs all the time. There's only a few you can see on my page now, on my channel, but I used to do them all the time, like 4 or 5 years ago. So I know a lot of you guys came back or came from those vlogs. So if you've been here for a while, let me know in the comment section that you've been here for a while. If you're new, welcome. Let me know as well. I love to interact with you. But I am on TikTok. I'm a lot more active on TikTok. It's Hope with Jasmine, the same user that is on here. You can follow me on TikTok, or hopefully I'll post a few more videos on here. I'm going to try to integrate the videos, the lives that I post on TikTok, the Bible studies and all that. Try to bring them over here on YouTube as well. So anyways, good to see y'all. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.